You're listening to the Downeast Mike podcast, the quirky little podcast from Maine. And now, your host, Downeast Mike. Why, good morning, everybody. This is Downeast Mike. You're listening to the Downeast Mike podcast, coming to you several times a week from somewhere in interior Downeast, Maine, an exact geographic location. And we broadcast as our mood dictates and events and exciting things that go on in the world. We like to recap and rehash and look things over a little bit and just see what's going on out there and give you our Down East perspective. We should start off with our disclaimer that some of this is whimsy, some of this is true, and the interpretation of it all is entirely up to you. Well, if you're up and about this morning, it's Friday, April 15th, 2022. That means tax day for some people, tax day maybe not for others if you work or not, or maybe you have a little hat on your dining room table and you put a few dollars in it every week, and at the end of the year, that's what you give to the tax man. That's what you think they're worth. I read that somewhere. That's what somebody did. That's it. They had it all figured out. They just pay whatever they felt, what the government needed to see. Well, I just heard the Cardinal, so I know the day is well underway here on Friday. We're going to have the weather forecast. We've got a lot going on. In today's episode, headlines, Maine buses go electric. Maine electric trains are stopped by Slush. That's from 1893, actually. We have peaks of interest. They're part of our new segment that we delve into. We have the Maine mammal of the moment. So exciting. You know, we should start off the day with our word of the day, which is cubit. Cubit, C-U-B-I-T, which is a definition as any of various ancient units of length, based on the length of the forearm from the elbow to the tip of the middle finger, and usually equal to about 18 inches or 46 centimeters if you're a Canadian. Now, this correspondent was thinking about cubits because he was reading about giants last night, and that's how they measured the giants, how they figured out how tall they were. They based them on cubies, and I couldn't find that same word anywhere else, so I don't even know. Then I got to thinking that the author was just ribbing me, making up words and stuff. So the closest I could get to it was cubit, 18 inches. This was a sample sentence. Newton was interested in the cubit, a unit of measurement used by the Great Pyramids builders. That comes from Olivia Gershon in the Smithsonian Magazine in 8th of December 2020. Now, how she knew what the Great Pyramids builders used as a unit of measure, I don't know. Maybe she was there. She said, well, maybe she belongs in the Smithsonian. Cubit. It's a unit of linear measure, we know that, used by many ancient and medieval peoples. It may have originated in Egypt about 3000 BC. I like how it says that so definitively. Not before, not after, 3000 BC. It thereafter became ubiquitous. What a heavy word that is. In the ancient world, the cubit, generally taken as equal to 18 inches, was based on the length of the arm from the elbow to the tip of the middle finger, and was considered the equivalent of 6 palms or 2 spans. In some ancient cultures, it was as long as 21 inches. And if you're a giant, then the cubit's like 40 inches, right? So you could, in traffic, I guess you could hold up your arm and your middle finger right now, maybe towards the drivers around you, and do a quick eyeball measurement. No, it's not a good idea. We don't want to do that. It is Good Friday. We want to be kind. Okay, this, again, it first appeared in print around the 14th century. Some of the other words that were popular at the time. Avenge, austral, authentic, bagpipe. They didn't have bagpipes before then. Bailey, bailiff, bab, baptism, baggin, badgeman, barrier, axle tree. Have you seen Pa? Yeah, he's asleep underneath the axle tree. That's our word of the day, cubit. Use it carefully as you go about your business. We have some birthdays today. Happy birthday today to Joshua in Dresden, Maine. Joshua turns 35. He works at Bath Iron Works as a welder. He's married to Emily. They have 4 children. Happy birthday to you, Joshua. Emily of Sanford turns 91. Happy birthday, Emily. Her father was a diplomat. I don't know if you knew that. She traveled the world for many years as a child and still speaks 4 languages. We have 2 more birthdays today. A very special birthday to Karen in Burlington, Vermont. She's getting closer to 40 all the time. She's looking forward to running the Boston Marathon. We know she's going to do a fantastic job there. She's a great runner. Happy birthday, Karen. We also have Jen over there in Amherst, New Hampshire, and she turns 39 again for the 3rd time or something. And happy birthday to you, Jen. She was on the Martha Stewart Special Operations team. They flew her in when Martha got sprung from the pan, and she had to go help spruce up the garden. I guess her specialty was deep ferns or something. So right down along the waterfront where the ferns had to be populated, she got in there and got the ferns all ready, because when Martha came up that gravel driveway, she wanted to see the ferns looking pretty. First thing you want to see when you get out of the federal hoosegow there. And but happy birthday to you, Jen. And we're pleased to hear that you're listening to the podcast. Let's go to the news. Maine buses are going electric. The Southern Maine bus companies are all set to set up electric buses in Greater Portland Metro. Includes Bedford, Saco, Old Orchard Beach. And the 4 electric-powered buses will begin in mid-May, getting right around Downeast Mike's birthday time. When they're put into operations, they're going to become the first fixed-route, all-electric, zero-emission buses in Maine. Greater Portland Transit currently has a fleet around 44 buses that are fueled by compressed natural gas or diesel fuel. These 4 electric buses are going to come from a California manufacturer called Proterra. I think that's a clever name, Proterra. It kind of invokes something that they're positive about the Earth. They wouldn't call it Pause Earth, but Proterra. Proterra says on its website it's been in the electric bus manufacturing business for 10 years. It has sold more than 1,300 buses to over 135 transit agencies in 43 states and Canadian provinces. Gregory Jordan, who's the executive director of Greater Portland Metro, said, "We're at the beginning of a transformation of our fleet, going from a fossil fuel operating system to electric." Well, the executive director of that transit organization says his fleet consists of 8 trolleys, 2 commuter coaches, and 11 buses, all of which diesel-powered. And they're going to have a charging station in Portland, another one in Biddeford, and I think they'll have one in Saco as well. What else we have on that one? The electric buses cost around $3 million. And the first electric bus is already in Portland. So I guess you could ride that one now. The second one's due to be delivered in about 2 weeks. One of the notes they're saying about it is that the operation of 2 of the electric-powered buses is really just a pilot project to see how they perform during a harsh Maine winter. In addition to the climate impact, the energy prices are another factor that they must consider. Well, Maine also had an extensive, electric railroad network way back in the 1800s, and we delved into that a little bit. From the Lewiston Evening Journal, 1893, this week's thaw demoralized the electric railway service in several of our main cities. Slush is the great enemy of the electric train, for if a drop of water gets into the armature of the motor, which is necessarily placed low down under the car just above the track, there is a sudden flash, a stop, and the car must be hauled back to the house by outside assistance, and the armature rewound at an expense of $150 to $200. The armature is composed of a mile or two of wire through which the electric current throbs, furnishing the power that moves the car. Just extraordinary. Also, from the Lewiston Saturday Journal, January 5th, 1898. And the headline is, "'Twas hair lifting." Subheadline is, "But by great good fortune and care, nobody was hurt. Snowplow, accommodation, and electrics in a bad tangle at Hollowell. A few windows in the streetcar broken, the chief damage." Slippery rails during the snowstorm came very near being the cause of a fearful catastrophe Wednesday morning at Milliken's Crossing, where the Augusta, Hollowell, and Gardner Electric Railroad crosses the tracks of the Maine Central Railroad. The 8:15 car from Gardner, in charge of motorman Carter and conductor Boynton. What a title! "Ma, this is Motorman Carter. I need you to get my breakfast ready." How would you would be jumping on that. They were descending the steep declivity which leads directly onto the tracks of the Maine Central. I'm assuming steep declivity means that they were going downhill. At the same time, a train consisting of an engine, snowplow, flange digger, and caboose was approaching on the eastbound track. Just before reaching the bottom of the grade, the motorman lost control of the electric, and the car slid along onto the Maine Central track nearly in front of the approaching train. Gateman John Lighton took in the situation at a glance, whoop, and immediately raised the red signal ball, which caused the snowplow train to come to an abrupt halt but a short distance away. At this moment, the accommodation train, conductor Warren Wright, was approaching on the westbound track on a scheduled time. Milliken's Crossing is a regular station for this train, and it was approaching at a slow rate of speed. The engine cleared the electric all right, but the baggage car struck the rear end of the electric, badly scarring the woodwork and dragging the gate and a few windows, also dragging the car a few feet. The car contained about 15 passengers who made all haste to vacate. Several ladies were badly frightened, but no one injured. The electric cars were placed on the track and proceeded to the car barn. The trains were delayed but a short time. In the commentary piece here, it will be seen that a bad accident was narrowly averted, but for the prompt action of gateman Lighton, nothing would have prevented the collision of the snowplow and the electric, and the low rate of speed of conductor Wright's train saved a second horrible occurrence. The place is a dangerous one, and extra precaution is always taken at this point by both the Maine Central and the electric people. No blame can be attached to anyone, and it can be said that the vigilance always asserted at this crossing was well rewarded. Well, just takes your breath away, doesn't it? How about the Lewiston Evening Journal, May 31st, 1898? The Bath Times prints this clipping from the Portsmouth Herald as an indication of what Bath can expect when the new road between Bath and Lewiston is in operation. Beginning next Friday, the energetic Boston and Maine will run 11 trains each way daily between York Beach and Portsmouth. The coming of the electric road between these points has brought this about, and it is now a case of steam versus electricity on the York Beach line. The B&M fare will be 22 cents, 3 cents less than the electric road fare. The probability is that the electric people will reduce theirs to 20 cents, and in that case, the steam road fare will go down, it is said, to 18 or 15 cents. The accommodation now afforded York Beach travelers is somewhat different from that a short time ago when you either had to walk, go in a barge, or pay a fabulous sum to ride on the cars within smelling distance of the salt water. I can smell that salt water from here, Mother. It is reported that the Maine Central Railroad, in order to compete with the electric line, will run a train consisting of 2 small cars and a small engine built for the purpose over their line between Bath and Lewiston every hour the coming season. But why didn't they do these things before they ceased to promise dividends? Just astonishing. We had all that back in the 1890s. We're working our way back to it. It is time for the Downeast Mike fantastic Maine mammal of the moment, the northern bog lemming, Synaptomous borealis. Sounds like something ought to be up in the sky, not on the ground. The northern bog lemming is a small North American lemming. It is one of 2 species in the genus Synaptomous, the other one being the southern bog lemming. They have cylindrical bodies covered with long gray or brown fur with pale gray underparts. Where is my mind this morning? A patch of rust-colored hair is seen at the base of the ears. They have small eyes, a hairy snout, and a short tail. They have 16 teeth, and their upper incisors are grooved. Who looked at their teeth and noticed those grooved incisors? Distinctive characteristics. The northern bog lemming's a small mammal, about the size of a vole. It weighs about an ounce, average length 4 inches. We talked about that. The head of the fur has a grizzled appearance. The underside is grayish. We talked about the grooves. So there are 2 types of bog lemmings, northern and southern, that live in Maine. They're very similar in appearance and difficult to distinguish. Unlike the southern bog lemming, the northern species has the rusty-tipped fur at the base of the ears. I can see me get down on my hands and knees in the bog to look for that rusty-tipped fur to distinguish the 2. Let's see, 2 structures must be examined under magnification to confirm the identification of the 2 species. The northern bog lemming does not have closed triangles on the outer surface of its molars, and it has a sharp projection pointing back from the roof of the mouth. The northern bog lemming is one of Maine's rarest mammals, and much like the Canadian lynx, it is more numerous in the north. It reaches the southern edge of its range here in Maine. The northern bog lemming has been listed as state threatened since 1986. However, it has not received federal listing attention. The northern bog lemming plays a critical role in the population cycles of many larger carnivores that share habitat, providing food to a variety of wildlife and their young. So you could find it 5 locations in western northern Maine, including 2 sites in Baxter State Park. It's also been captured in 3 locations in New Hampshire, along the Wild River, not far from the Maine-New Hampshire border, near the base of Mount Washington, and on Mount Moosilauke. Most occurrences are at elevations of 2,000 feet or greater. In other parts of the species range, it occurs at much lower elevations, where its habitat needs are provided by a northern tundra-like habitat, rather than like an alpine environment. I bet at 2,000 feet elevation you could find all sorts of funny little things. They're active year-round too, so you can go look for them anytime you want. Today on Downeast Mike, our peaks of interest, well, we were a little bit stumped on this one. Ebeeme Mountain, Maine. Ebeemee Mountain in Maine. It's listed as 700 feet prominence, elevations 1,890 plus feet. And interesting thing about this mountain is I was going to look at it as peaks of interest. I've got nothing on it. I Googled it. I looked on Stat Page. I looked at DuckDuckGo. this mountain is a mystery. The only thing I could find on it is they got a cache there on the geocaches. This is probably from, I don't know, the O's. This cache is located on 1,890-foot Ebimi Mountain near Katahdin Ironworks, map 42 in the Maine Gazetteer. The mountain stands out nicely while driving on Route 11 north of Brownville Junction. And then he's got directions. Go north on I-95 to the LaGrange exit, Route 16 north, continue through Milo. I remember. Note the devastation to Milo's downtown. What has that got to do with the mountain? Take the Katahdin Ironworks Road, continue along this dirt road to parking coordinates, and then he's talking about my mighty neon through, so ground clearance is good. Okay. Non-winter available cache is approximately 0.8 miles to the top. The climb requires following some old skidder trails, some bushwhacking, and some reasonable hardwood growth walking. Views are limited. The countryside looks like excellent deer hunting, so wear lots of orange. Good luck, Grow-Lou. Well, Grow-Lou, if you're listening, tell us some more about that mountain, because we have it listed as a peak of interest, but we just don't have any data on it. Maybe it's one of those ones we want to look at on Google Earth and just kind of track it from there, and that'll be enough. If you do have a mountain that you'd like featured on Downeast Mike Podcast, just send it along to Mike at downeastmike.com, and we'll look into that mountain for you. So today we're going to go quickly to the weather for today, Friday, April 15th, tax day. We're going to have patchy fog this morning, otherwise partly sunny, then gradually becoming sunny, the high near 64, so we're going to have a nice spring day here today, where winds could gust as high as 25 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly clear with a low around 45. And then for Saturday, 30% chance of showers, mainly in the afternoon. You can get out in the morning and get some stuff done. Sunday, showers likely, then a chance of showers, but we're going to have some breaks of sun there with a high near 51. All in all, not a bad looking weekend. So that is our podcast for today. I hope you and your loved ones enjoy a day full of grace, love, and kindness. Until next time, this is Downeast Mike saying, we'll see you.